Greetings! You have reached the Clarinet Sidekick video for page 8, left hand. Page 8, left hand. Okay? We have a page to tell you what your left hand does and a page to tell you what your right hand does. Now, it's very, very important that you do the things for the left hand with the left hand and the things on the page for the right hand with your right hand. Every year I get students who practice it with the wrong hands in the wrong positions, and you can get a sound on the clarinet that way, but there are certain things you can't do with your hands that way that you don't realize on the very first few songs. So you think it's okay and it doesn't matter and you think everything's fine. And then when we get to those pages where it really does matter that your left hand is in the right spot and the right hand's in the right spot, and you can't make those sounds, I get a lot of students who got into the wrong habit that just quit because they don't want to deal with having to switch their hands in the right place. I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to stick with clarinet and love clarinet playing and having fun. So make sure that your left hand is doing what I'm explaining in this video, and in the next video that your right hand does those things. Okay? So this may be my left hand. So everything I'm going to show you is with my left hand. But your left hand's over there. Over there. My left hand is going to be on the opposite side of your left hand because I'm turned facing you. Now, if I turned the same way you're facing, look at that. My left hand ends up on the opposite side. It ends up on that side, where your left hand is. So really make sure you're using your left hand to do this. Otherwise, you'll get into a really bad habit. All right? And I don't want you to get into a bad habit. So your left hand. So we've got our clarinet. All right. Taught you rest position, how to put it together. Good stuff. All right? So the left hand is what operates the upper middle spot. Your left hand operates the upper middle keys. All right? That's your left hand's job. Not your right hand. Okay? Not your right hand. Left hand. Okay? Now, your pinky is not really going to do much yet. Okay? Your pinky will have a lot to do in the future. All right? For right now, I'm going to talk about what to do with your thumb and your first 3 fingers. Okay? It's not too complex. All right? Remember that register key I talked about that had to point at the hole of the mouthpiece that now, of course, has the reed on it? Okay, so that register key is pointing at that mouthpiece. Underneath that register key is a big circle, okay, with a hole. Your thumb from your left hand covers that hole. That's your thumb's job of your left hand, covering up that hole. All right? Now, it is important that you use the flat part of your thumb, okay, to cover the hole. Okay? Not the side of your thumb, not the tip of your thumb, but the flat part of your thumb. No, yes. Okay? It also has to cover the hole completely whenever you have to cover that hole. Obviously, the whole point is when you're changing notes, you have to cover up these holes. So it's not just kind of sort of being there. It's got to actually cover that hole and not bump this key here. So it has to cover up that hole. So it's going to come at it kind of sideways like this. So make sure you don't only sort of cover it. Make sure you're completely covering it. Okay? Now on the other side, there are 3 other holes. Okay? So if you're looking at a clarinet, there are 3 holes with keys in between the holes. Okay? You do not press the keys that are in between the holes. Okay? Your fingers need to cover up the holes themselves. So your thumb, your left thumb, is covering up this hole underneath the register key. Now on the other side, you're going to need to cover up the holes still with the flat part of your finger covering up the hole. If I pull away really fast, you can see the circle. Okay? Now, there's going to be a bigger space between your first two fingers than your next two fingers. So if I take the clarinet away, okay, so it is not even like you would think, okay? That sometimes confuses people, and because of that, they don't cover up the second hole correctly. Sometimes they're like this, and they're not covering up that hole, okay? Or they get used to the space between these two fingers, and they want to make the same space, and then they don't cover up that hole, okay? So these two fingers, the middle finger and the ring finger, are going to be closer to each other, and your first finger is farther away, okay? Using the flat part of your fingers, not the sides, and not the tips, okay? The flat part of your fingers cover up the holes, all right? So they need to stay there and be used to being in that position, because there are going to be notes where you're not covering up those holes. Sometimes you're going to be covering up just these holes. Maybe you'll be covering up these holes, maybe just those holes. So you need to be able to keep them there and lift and bring them back down, covering up the holes or not covering up the holes. Now, yeah, other than that, that's where your left hand goes. That's all I can remember to tell you about the left hand for now. On to the next page. May the force be with you.